how much time were you spending per day pushing up to #1? And what would be your best tips to gain trophies? Do you think there is a best game mode for gaining trophies? Let's go really quick, just a tip for each game mode. One really good tip. What sort of tips would you give them to try and become a top player in Brawl Stars? What's up, YouTube? Today we have a very special guest. We have last season's #1 player in the world who had over 18,300 trophies. We have none other than Demise. What's up, my man?
Hey man, what's up? How are you?
Doing well. Pleasure to have you on the channel. Really excited to hear all these great tips you have from my audience just on pushing trophies, Brawl Stars, other stuff in general. But first, let's just give the audience a little bit of background on yourself. Where are you from? What do you do outside of Brawl Stars?
So I'm from Iran and I live in Iran, and outside Brawl Stars, I'm a student and I hang out with my friends just like anyone else.
Nice, nice. What do you study in school?
I started studying computer science.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. All right, well, back to the main topic for most people, but you ended the season at over 18,000 trophies, but what did you start the season at?
So I started out 13,800 trophies, and yeah, I ended at like 18,300.
That is a huge gain of trophies. That's probably, you gained more trophies in one season than probably most of my viewers even have total, period.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dang good, I think. And not only that, the trophy gain and loss, up at those higher trophies is totally different. Your average trophies per brawler, I think, is over like 800 at the end of the season. So what was like the trophy gain and loss like for those brawlers?
So after 700 trophies, for every win you get 3, and for every loss you get -6.
-6. So that, that's very time consuming. On top of that too, you're probably like, do you have a long wait finding matches with the higher trophy brawlers?
It takes about 3 minutes to find a match.
3 minutes to find a match. So if you lose, oh man, that's feels like a lot of time lost. That's a bummer.
Does, yeah.
So what was that like experience like pushing up to #1? That had to have been a crazy thing.
It was really time consuming, obviously, and it took a lot of time. But once you just reach that #1 spot, you're just really happy and stuff. You just feel really.
Of course, I'm sure that had to have been amazing. Of course, I would love to be the #1 player. I don't think it's ever gonna happen, but we can always dream, right?
Yeah.
So if you had to guess, how much time were you spending per day pushing up to #1?
So at the start of the season, I wasn't playing that much because I wasn't sure if I was gonna go full out or not. But at in the middle of the season, I started playing much more, and so on average, I would say I was playing like 10 hours a day, maybe 9. 10 hours a day would be probably 10 hours a day.
Dang, that's a lot, but that makes sense. Considering how much you had to push up and just even thinking about how long it took you to find a match and. Let alone if you lost them.
Yeah, the matchmaking made everything so much more time consuming.
Yeah. So to do that, were you like only playing with other top players, or were you just like playing with other people in your band or anyone on your friends list? What were you doing?
So, but I tried to find if anyone was on who I'd play with a lot and have like good chemistry with them, I would invite them. But if they're not on, I'd have no choice but to invite like people from my band.
I got you. That makes sense. You're playing probably basically whenever you had free time, I guess.
Yeah.
So probably hard to always just wait for someone. That makes sense. Now, I think I know the answer to this question, but just for the sake of my audience, did you ever play with randoms in your push to #1?
No way.
I had to ask. I think I knew. And I feel like I know the answer to this next question too. But again, from my audience, did you ever play Showdown or Duo Showdown?
I did not.
No.
Not at all. Not even for the star key.
Not even for the star key. Well, I guess you have you're definitely max account, right?
I'm maxed, yeah.
Max. Have you been maxed for a long time?
Yeah, it's been like 6 months.
So no need for any sort of keys or anything like that. So that makes sense. No. Got it. Now, what about in your push up? I'm sure it was different for like every brawler. Did you have what was your hardest brawler to push up and gain trophies with, and what was your easiest brawler to gain trophies with?
So the hardest brawler, probably Mortis for me, because I'm not that good of a Mortis, and I get shot delay sometimes, and Mortis shot delay is just bad, really bad.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think it was like the only brawler that I did an 800 at the end of the season.
Oh, so every brawler was 800 except for Mortis. How many were 900?
I think I had like 10 or
10
9.
brawlers over 900
Yeah.
trophies. Some people dream of getting one. So insane. What was your easiest brawler to push up? What was the easiest?
My easiest, Leon.
I was gonna
obviously.
say.
Yeah, he's just way too OP right now.
He's very strong. We're all waiting for that nerf.
Yeah,
Who
he
knows?
could be used at any map.
Any map, any mode, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Did you play? Do you play an iPad or do you play an iPhone or
play
whatever
on
device?
iPad.
iPad. Do you like playing an iPad? Do you ever like switch device?
I've tried playing on my phone and I suck at it. I'm not used to it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I play an iPad mostly just for like content purposes. I do feel like though, let me know what you think. I feel like certain brawlers are a little bit easier to play on phone. Like Mortis is one of them, and then like kind of throwers too. I feel like are easier to play on phone. Do you feel the same way, or you just don't even bother?
I don't play on my phone much because I know I'm bad at it. So I don't know.
That's fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so you have a lot of experience pushing trophies. You even have like some pretty big pushes before this push to #1. So I think you got a lot of experience with this. But what about some tips for gaining trophies? And what would be your best tips to gain trophies for my viewers?
So I think the best tip that a lot of people who are lower in trophies don't follow is you need to have a room. You need to have a room. You can't be playing with randoms. Like you can't push much randoms. You need to have a room.
Got it. That makes sense. So try not to play with randoms.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's not consistent.
Any other trophy pushing tips or like things you think that are really important for trophy pushing?
Well, you need to have like a certain game mode, like your best at, and just grind it out, I guess.
So I guess going on that, do you think there is a best mode, a best game mode for gaining trophies, or even is there one best mode for gaining trophies?
I mean, it really depends on the person, but I think like the best game mode to push trophies in, if you're like you don't have many cups, it's Showdown. But once you go up above 500, I think Heist is like the best game mode to push in. It's really fast and it's like it's just really you can just end the game in like 30 seconds.
That makes sense. So do you prefer Heist for quick matches over say Brawl Ball for quick matches?
Brawl Ball was really good, but like ever since they upped they put like you could corner it now, like behind the net.
Behind the goal.
Yeah. It's just it takes so much time and it's annoying.
That's true.
So,
yeah, I did always find it like pretty hit or miss. It could be like a 45-second match where you could have a Mortis on the enemy team just going and taking the ball, running back and forth behind the goal.
Yeah, it's not quick anymore.
Still waiting on the fix. We did hear from Frank, Supercell team lead, that they are going to implement a fix, something for Brawl Ball. Do you have any ideas? Like, what would you do?
If I would just make it how it used to be, and I know how they had a problem with like the spawning points. I think they should make it so if you die on like the right side of the map, you respawn on the right side of the map.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. So then they can sort of expect you to be in a certain place at least. Takes away some of the randomness.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's give some tips for each of the game modes. I think the viewers will really enjoy this. And let's go really quick, just a tip for each game mode. One really good tip. So what would you say is a good tip for gem grab?
So for gem grab, you need to have like roles and gem grab. So you need to have a gem carrier to carry the gems. And you need to have like 2 brawlers that play the sides. So you could completely control the map. That's basically it.
That makes sense. And are you ever having them like in the same lane at all? Are they helping each other out?
Yeah, so gem carriers usually need to help out the lanes.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you could ignore their gem carrier and help the sides, that would be much better.
It's a great tip. What about Brawl Ball? What would you say for Brawl Ball?
So Brawl Ball, ever since they made it so you could like put it behind the net, I think dying is like really detrimental to your like the game. So if you die and your team gets put in a 2v3 situation, and they could score really easily.
So what would you say to try to do for Brawl Ball?
So you need to like be sure you're not dying. Like you need to stay alive and just if you're low on HP, you need to fall back. Like,
okay, so don't be too aggressive. Don't be running into the enemy team too much, going for like flashy plays.
Be more passive.
So more about control than getting a lot of kills.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. What about for heist?
So for heist, I would say the best tip would be to push as a group when you're attacking the safe.
Okay.
So if your bull has a super and he's gonna go on the safe, don't go if your teammates are back. Like wait for them to come up and then push as a group.
Got it. Go for team pushes. Think you can just get more damage that way, or?
Yeah, it's much
And then I've always struggled with this sometimes. When you do go in for that team push on the safe, you know, when are you deciding to start going for kills and try and kill the people defending the safe as opposed to attacking the safe?
So say you're a bull and you go on the safe and do some damage, and one of your teammates dies and goes to defend. If I would just like try to like stay alive and keep them busy while your teammate comes back and pushes.
So just try and stall them.
Yeah, stall them and wait for your teammates to come back up.
Okay, awesome, great tips. What about for bounty?
For bounty, so bounty, I think it's more important to stay alive and get kills. Yeah, just stay alive, and if you could get a kill, go for it, but don't risk yourself. Don't risk dying for a kill.
Okay. Then how often are you like going for like 2 versus 1s? Are you trying to get that a lot in bounty? Are you like staying close to your teammates? Are you staying in your lane? You know, what are you trying to do?
Yeah. So if you could 2v1 a brawler, that would be great. But if you can't, just let it be. Just fall back.
Got it. What about for Showdown? Do you play Showdown much?
I don't play Showdown much, but like I used to.
Okay, so you used to. So what would be just one thing you would say for Showdown?
Well, unfortunately, teaming is a thing in Showdown. So if you're gonna want to push when you're higher up in trophies, you're gonna have to team, obviously. But I don't think that's how you win. Like you need to know when to backstab and when not to.
Okay.
That's basically
That makes sense.
So you can't have people on your team knowing that you're gonna backstab them. Like you can't have them seeing you backstab someone else.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Then you get betrayed as well, probably. Team turns.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, so going on, I mean, what about you're definitely one of the top players in Brawl Stars. So to all my aspiring top players in the audience, you know, what sort of tips would you give them to try and become a top player in Brawl Stars?
So I think the best tip to become a top player is you need to find a good club. A good club, an active club, is really important because you're gonna have to find rooms to practice with, and yeah.
So just try and find active people to play with.
Yeah, active clubs to find active people to get in your rooms and push.
Got it. And I'm assuming you're gonna recommend Nova or anything else.
Yeah, Nova bans are really active, all of them.
Got it. Okay. What about, like, how do you feel about the potential of Brawl Stars in general? Just as a game, and then actually too, like, how do you feel about the potential of Brawl Stars as an esport?
So as a game, I think it's going really well, and if it continues like this, I think it's going to be much better. And as an esports, I think it has a ton of potential as an esports game.
Where do you see like the esports side of it going? Like, what sort of game modes do you think it'll be? Format? You know, what would you think?
As a format, what do you mean?
Like, what sort of game modes do you think are best for esports and Brawl Stars? Do you think it should be like every game mode? Do you think it should be like one specific? Like, is there one other game mode that's best, or what would you do?
So I wouldn't do Showdown. It has to be 3v3.
No Showdown. Okay.
Yeah, no Showdown. And I think, I don't know, it's kind of controversial. I think Bounty is really boring, but I think people would rather have it because it requires a ton of skill, in my opinion.
It is
but
interesting.
It's boring to watch.
It's hard too because without Showdown, there's like 4 game modes, and how do you sort of incorporate 4 game modes is another thing that can be kind of difficult. But I guess you're seeing that with ESL, they're just sort of rotating through, and then the 5th game is just, if there's a 5th game, they repeat a game mode. I guess kind of makes sense. Definitely switches it up. All right, well, man, it was awesome to get all these great tips from you. Are there any like shout outs you want to do? Oh, Demise has a Twitter, guys. Make sure to follow it. I'll put a link in the description and the pinned comment.
It was an honor to be on your channel, and I don't have anyone specific to shout out, but I would like to shout out everyone that helped me push this season. the Nova Esports family, and yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to have you on, man. And thank you so much for being on the channel. It's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.